Oh, wait a minute. We asked for the live shot and we got this shot. But that's okay. That just means we're doing a live show.
Yeah.
What's up? It's a hashtag randomly with Ronnie Jr. And today, who is with me? Courtney Stewart, a writer, producer, and a podcaster. So thanks for
Hello.
stopping by.
Thank you
Uh,
for having me.
we have been talking about a couple different pop culture items, and we'll do that a lot more. I've known Courtney for a good little while, but we haven't really got to do many shows together. So hopefully this will be a start of something beautiful. So, Courtney, what are we going to talk about today? Because some of the pop culture stuff comes with a lot of seriousness, and we want to handle everything correctly.
Yes.
One of the things we are seeing in the news is the conflict is the word. What word would we use? The conflict with Russell.
It's a little conflict, yeah.
And his ex-wife.
Yes.
Where are you up to date with all of this?
Oh, honey, I watched it all. I watched the live from Kimora. I was looking at all the comments that her second daughter, Aoki, was making during the live. And then Aoki posted her own videos of her dad yelling. And it's a lot because I hate when the family feuds, nobody wins. But some of the stuff they're saying, I'm believing. It's probably the case. Russell has a sordid past, and some of it doesn't surprise me, I should say. It's just unfortunate that it's being aired out all over the internet. But at the same time, sometimes there comes a point, where you're tired of protecting somebody and they've done enough and you got to say your piece. So I can't be totally mad at that. And Kimora says she will give us all the receipts we need for everything that she was talking about in her live. So family drama is hard.
Yeah. I guess you could go to the old videos to see all of the real detailed stuff. Can you give me like a light version of some of the stuff that happened? But also, why do you think that it occurred during Father's Day? Like, that's such an odd thing. Or is that just people run into a space where they couldn't they couldn't maintain, I guess, the lie anymore.
Yes.
Is that why it happened? Is Father's Day a triggering moment? Like, what do you think happened there?
Well, Father's Day appeared to be the triggering moment because the oldest daughter, Ming, posted Happy Father's Day to her mother. And if I remember correctly, a response came from Russell saying he posted something to the effect of, if mother's so concerned about making sure dad is in the picture, why does she make it so hard? That's not the exact quote, but basically he was faulting her mother for his inactivity in his kids' lives. And that is apparently what triggered Kimora to go online and say, you know what, that is not what's happened here, and you are not going to spread this narrative anymore. So she went through a whole conversation about how he's been treating the girls and how he basically has cut them out of his life and cut them off in recent years, even though for years they were close and she has done lots for him in terms of his finances and helping him, and they were friends and things were good. But it's almost like he's had like a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde kind of thing going on, where he will be extremely harsh with the girls about their mom. And if they try to say something like, dad, don't do that, or dad, don't say that, he will lose his crap on them. He's called their friends and boyfriends and threatened people and allegedly, all these things. So Kimora was like, I'm just going to keep it real and be honest about what's really going on, because you're not going to paint me like I'm the problem when clearly you're the problem. And that caused the youngest daughter, Aoki, who's the daddy's girl of the two, apparently. She got really emotional online and she was crying and did her own video and posted a muted video of her dad yelling at her on the phone. So you don't know the real context of what that conversation was, which I thought was a little weird. But her pain was apparent. And I think that it's obviously it's sad, and it's because Father's Day was, a day we want to celebrate the dads, and people want to believe that he's rich, he's got this, he should. But just because you got money doesn't mean you're a good dad all the time. And it's looking like he's not been so great for the girls, but he has harmed them emotionally in some way.
I think that's definitely a difficult thing when you're the parent, you're the father in that case, and if you're saying negative things about their mother. It's two kids.
Yes.
I think I said one. Okay,
They
so
have two daughters.
and one just graduated from Harvard, correct?
Yes, not too long ago. Yeah, she just.
Oh yeah, it's like more of a high moment than
Yes,
so for
you
it to
should be
be over.
celebrating.
Yeah,
And she actually talked about that, how Russell was very much like, why are you wasting money going to college? Like, that's stupid. And like, he just wasn't kind to her about some of the choices that she made. And when she was supposed to be celebrating.
is there any way you could see any of his side? Like, what was his side, or did he just? I mean, I think I saw in some of the posts that he like just said "I love you" or whatever, which doesn't solve anything.
No, he
Could
did.
you
He
see?
apologized. He
Oh,
did
he
say
did
I'm
apologize.
sorry in a post.
Yeah, and
he
that's
posted
not
the girls, but
public apology is cool, but it has to be more,
yeah.
connected authentically.
Yeah, I mean, look, I never met Russell. I don't know anything about Russell, but obviously we've heard about some of the negative things that he potentially had done in the past, allegedly. And he, personality-wise, I would buy that he's kind of a harsher personality sometimes. But the girls are actually saying that they're concerned that there's something going on mentally, like he might need help. So, and he's also, again, Russell's in his early 60s, mid 60s. I don't know how old I think he's mid 60s.
He might be a little older than that.
He's about 65, I think.
Yeah.
Right. So if there's some kind of like dementia stepping in, things like that, because it does sound a lot like that, because people that are early stages of dementia tend to, frustration comes quickly and easily, and they lash out in ways that, aren't awesome. They aren't great. So that could be part of it. I don't know. But his part of it, because a lot of people are like, oh, you're whining, your dad cut you off for money, blah, 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 blah. But there is a such thing as
there's nuance to the story for sure.
There's nuance, and it's emotionally abusive to use money to manipulate people, especially your family and children. So there's look, I don't know how much he was giving them or not giving them or whatever, and do they deserve this, that, and the other, but they seem to be very clearly saying, we work, we're models, we have this. I graduated from Harvard. Like, it's not just about that he cut me off financially. It's about how he went about it and the way that these things are happening. So I think that's a fair argument to have and discussion to have. And I don't think you should just dismiss people because their dad's rich and their mom's wearing diamonds, that they didn't have any kind of emotional harm that was done to them. But
and you're right. Yeah, just because somebody comes from a different situation where there is an abundance of money, that doesn't mean the emotions aren't, connected in the same way you or I will have them. If anyone talks about your mother, you're going to be that's a very dark road, and you see that with people that break up. Once you're with the kids, don't talk about the other the ex. Yeah, don't talk about the other parent. It's just, you're never going to convince the kid of that. I mean, let the kid have their own decision when it comes to that.
And that's the whole point. Why would you want to? Like, let the kid deal with the parent and have the relationship that they have. And if that parent is harmful or doing bad things, that kid will grow up and realize, oh, my other parent was the one that had my back the whole time, or whatever. You don't need to do that for them. It doesn't happen that way.
Now, the very difficult thing with the grace concept too is that I think sometimes, and this is not saying how I feel about this per se, because I want to do more research before I make any comments. In fact, I actually just heard a really wonderful Russell Simmons interview. So I feel like my mind is just more on like all the good that he's doing. But I think the complicated thing would be like if it was you or I, if it was one of our parents and they had such a foothold in this hip hop game. How do you be the daughter to conflict it? Like, I think maybe the reason the emotions were so high is because maybe people didn't ever want to make a comment about anything because you don't want to be the person to down his legacy. Because
100%.
Because that could happen too. So I could understand like the pain that it kind of caused, I guess.
Yeah, the stifling of how things really are and how you really feel about things in protection of somebody else is horrible. And it's also another tool of manipulation on his part because he knows that exists. And sometimes if you are someone who is mistreating someone, but they won't say anything about you because they want to protect you and all that, like, you're in a power position in a whole nother way. And that's just unfortunate. And they're young women. They seem to be well-adjusted. Like, we haven't been hearing about Ming and Aoki Lee, like in these streets doing wild stuff. Like, obviously Aoki went to Harvard. Ming has been modeling for years. Like, they seem like well-adjusted girls doing what they got to do. So coming out with this, should it be on the internet? Maybe not, but it's the world we live in.
do you think Kimora will bring those receipts out, or did she just kind of threaten it in a space of like, let's just knock it off? You know, what do you think she's going to do?
Hers came, well, when she was saying it, she was like, knock it off, because I will show receipts if I have to, if that's what we're going to do. So I don't know that she wants to expose the receipts. Like, I think it's just because it came off of him being apparently allegedly threatening to the girls. And she was like, you're not going to keep doing this to my kids, and you're not going to keep doing this to me. So I don't know. We might get a book, child. Maybe we'll get a magazine article with some checks and some receipts. And
I was going to say there, I mean, it's dramatic, so there might be some checks. Somebody's getting a reality show.
Yes. Well, they were on Entertainment Tonight recently, I think, talking about possibly doing a reality show again. Because
she was good.
Had one back in the day.
She was on In Style or something like that.
Yeah, it was Style Network. She
was all right. Yeah,
I enjoyed it. I remember watching it, so I'd watch them again.
Well, like I said, hopefully all parties involved could have grace. Whoever's fault it is can like get it together, and the family could move forward, because no one wants to see family tear each other down. There's enough people tearing people down already. Like, you don't want it internally.
100%.
Emotions are high. It makes sense. It's a triggering moment for lots of people with Father's Day. There's the people that you consider your mother, as that happens too. So I get it. It makes sense.
It makes sense.
Make it better.
Right. Go get the help. Anybody, if you need help, get the help you need. Therapy, child. If you need to go see the doctor, go see the doctor. Get your pills, like whatever. But
we Courtney and I will mediate. Is that the word, mediate? Yeah, we'll mediate for a very reasonable price.
Reasonable price, child. Yeah. Reasonable price. I'll get yelled at by Russell Simmons and be like, you should not speak to your daughter this way.
Yeah. Wait a minute. Well, Courtney. It's always great talking to you about the industry. We've talked about pop culture, housewives, all that stuff. So we keep it fun. We touch on some of the serious stuff. And then again, just trying to find the grace so these family dynamics don't play out in the public, because it's no one's business, really. But again, if there's a book out there, we may buy it.
But I'm going to look at it.
Cash it out, baby. Yes. Okay, we got to go. Thank you for your time, Courtney.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Hey, Ronnie Jr.